Hello everyone. The title of today's episode is You Are Your Great Work. And it's a very beautiful episode because, the great work is something I wrote, guys, which hopefully at this point, some people have at least clicked on the Amazon link to see what it is. You are your great work is a suggestion that your moment of being cannot go to waste, but at the same time its contribution cannot just be temporal. What is fascinating about the world that we know and the world that we are in is that our attention is creating it. And that means there is always a revelation of a creator. There's always the profoundness of the lion roaring. And so the attention is always centered to now. In the great work, this book I wrote that just pretty much came to me, and intuitively I felt I needed to share it with the world. There's a quote in there where it says your work works with you. What is that implying? What that is implying is that in this life, as much as the drop is going towards the ocean is moving towards the drop. As much as you are observing God, as much as you as an individual being are considering your collective, your collectivity is also considering you. Now this takes us down to this very deep idea that is life a projection from our own mind? Is that why we ask and we receive immediately? And so you see, yes, there is cause and effect, but the pilot of consciousness navigates beyond turbulence of a distinct domain. What does that mean? That means the pilot is on a platform, but then he lifts off from that platform into greater skies. So similarly, we are lifting off our attention from the ground of this world into the sky of our mind. Love is always a transcendental evocation of the clarity of the self-aware being. There are many paths in this world, and your life is one of them. That means when I heard this very profound quote and idea, it was like this guy. Someone was saying life is like a mountain. When you're at the bottom, the reality is different, and every person has to go on their own climb towards the peak. So every human being, it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, it doesn't matter if you're a child who doesn't have something to eat, whoever you are, wherever you are, you as a conscious being required to climb your own mountain of life experience and reach the peak, which is the true wisdom and true nature of it. See, we have forgot we're explorers because our media, knows how to put on good shows. So every moment you have an attention, this attention is kept by the subtlety of what your memory brings to the table. So right now, if I say, if Mr.Within was to throw an apple in the air, Newton and Eve would see totally different apples. They would see totally different stories. When there's a story about reality, it's very important to be aware of the character and the setting. Because sometimes the setting will suggest the character, sometimes the character will suggest the setting. But when you look at if a character in a story was wondering about the greatest intelligence of that reality, that being would suddenly see that the storyteller is everywhere. And so what is it that many of our religious and spiritual and mystical texts say? That there is an underlying unity to any dualism that is even choosing to see itself individual or a world individual. It's like this, guys, the more individually conscious you are, the more individual you feel, the more the world will be a certain world. The more uncertainty there is that means you acknowledge your I don't knows and you see that there's a space for the new to emerge. As the Zen masters say during their tea ceremony, the cup must be empty before it's full. Right now, as a being, your cup is filled with all the experiences and conditioning you've had so far. But to become aware of emptiness means to become aware of a nature and state of being where you are not trying to avoid the void, but through your confrontation you are seeing everything that this void is permeating through. It's a collective intelligence, you know? It's like your fingers realizing the palm and being like, oh my God, there's totally something greater here holding everything. Let us see it like this. The Sufi mystics say, they have this very profound quote, you know, 900 years ago, 1,000 years ago, it would be said, they said, die before dying. Now, if there's a suggestion that we should die before dying, it's as if we are born twice. It's as if we are born once as just this physical body, but then we are born as an identity, an I thought, a self. So think of it this way, that when Sri Ramana Maharshi said meditation is your true nature, it was being implied that you don't go sit trying to copy some guy from long ago, you rather sit and try to observe how you're being. Because regardless of what you do, it will continue to be. You know? That's why, guys, Shakespeare, you know, people like these plays. To be or not to be, consciousness is everywhere. Much blessings and namaste.